How y'all doing this wonderful, wonderful Saturday? So today's Speakdom is going to be focusing on the winner's mentality versus the loser's mentality. Because, like I said a few episodes ago, you really need to reframe your thinking sometimes, like we all do as people, as we grow older. And I'm here making these for people who want to be better, who want to be successful in life in every different way possible, not just like money. We're talking about other things too. Who want to be better people and learn more about themselves, and so I can share my own experiences with you. And if you want to do those things, this is for you. I want to talk about the difference between a winner and a loser when it comes to their mentality and when it comes to the real difference, because I think a lot of people misunderstand loser mentality versus real winning mentality, right? So the first thing you have to understand is that nobody can go through life without suffering some kind of loss. That is impossible. It is literally impossible unless you die at birth. You're going, and then you've lost. Unfortunately, you're going to lose your parents. You're going to get broken up with and rejected unless you decide to be celibate or something. You're going to lose pets. You're going to lose friendships. You're going to lose jobs. You're going to lose things that you thought about, things you wanted. You might even lose property. It's a guarantee. And I think that's the first thing. Once you go into life knowing that at some point something bad's going to happen, there's two ways to look at it. The loser will say, oh my God, I got to go to work again, man. I hope I don't get into an accident, man. Oh my God. Oh. And they'll just let their anxiety eat them up. And I know because I used to be that guy. Winner will say, well, you don't think about bad things, but you know subconsciously, if something bad happens, it's going to be okay because I will figure out a solution one way or another. That to me is one of the most important. That people talk about alpha and beta, and I notice that those words get really triggering to some people because they don't understand what it means. Too many people think that the word alpha means toxic masculinity, and that's not the case. Because, first of all, alpha, and I've done videos on this, by the way, alpha can go for a woman, a gay person, a trans person. Like, I don't care what your gender is or what your sexual preference is, you can be alpha. Because when you're alpha, it means that you're in a state of mind that has transcended who you are. And your purpose in life has changed to it being just about you. Unfortunately, we as human beings, from a very early age, both men and women, are taught very much about self-preservation. You are taught what not to do and what to do. Sometimes the advice is right, sometimes it's wrong. But really, the biggest teacher in life is life. The biggest teacher in life is not somebody you go to high school and who's got a pointer and is drawing math problems on the chalkboard or whatever, the whiteboard. That's not the biggest teacher. The biggest teacher of life is life. So, winners don't consider losses a loss. A winner considers a loss a learning experience. I'm going to say that again. I want you to really write this down because I'm spitting isms today. When you are going through life and you have a winning mentality, whether it be entrepreneurship, whether it be you're a competitive athlete, whether it be esports, whether it be just beating your friends in Tetris, it doesn't matter, or in Smash Brothers. Losing is not the best. Nobody wants to lose, obviously. But when you're a winner and you suffer a loss, the L does not mean lost. The L stands for learned. You're going to, in your life, try to attract a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever you're into, and you might get rejected. You probably will. That's going to hurt. It's going to sting your ego. But the older you get and the more you become alpha / self-actualized, the more you begin to understand that A, that's not how attraction works anyways, and B, okay, perhaps my approach was wrong. Let me do some real introspection and figure out what went wrong. Same thing in business. A lot of people think that businessmen are all these crazy dudes that got lucky and took a lot of risks. And that is the biggest crock of dookie ever. If you believe this, dude, if you are listening to this right now and you believe that, you have been led astray by the very people who want to keep their own power, my friend. You need to empower yourself. Let me go into that for a minute. Most business owners that I know, most millionaires that I know, did not inherit it from their parents. Most of them worked really hard. And I'm going to do a whole video on this. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll talk about this a lot. And when they take these business risks, let's just say that they open up a business, say a restaurant, right? Does well. They open up a second restaurant. And people are saying, that might not be a good idea, but they have a plan, they follow it through. That restaurant fails, they lose money. It's going to suck, yes. But if they're a good business person, businessman, businesswoman, they will take that as a learning experience to say, okay, you know what? I took an L on that. And you might not realize this right away. It might take you a few weeks to actually, or a few months to actually realize this. Yeah, okay, I lost. Didn't go well, but that's okay because the next one will keep working. I'll use myself as an example. I will be editing a video. I'll be working on a video on Geekdom 101. That's my main channel where I make my money. It's my main bread and butter, and it's what I truly love to do. And the video will not get the amount of views I want. It'll just not do well. Does it piss me off? Sure. Do I have a right to be upset? Absolutely. Do I let it stop me, though? See, loser mentality is, well, you know what? I guess I'm just not cut out for this YouTube thing. I think I'll go back to school. Now, if you want to go back to school and you have a real plan, go for it. But loser mentality is, oh my God, I can't believe it didn't do well. Oh, my life is over. Your life ain't over, dude. Winners will look at that and say, okay, well, maybe it was the wrong time. Maybe the video was uploaded at the wrong time. Maybe it was too long or too short. Maybe the algorithm wasn't on my side. There's a lot of reasons, but really, if you're a winner, you're going to sit there and think introspectively, okay, what did I do wrong? Was the topic not interesting? Are people not really into that kind of stuff? Was the topic one that was more niche? Was the editing bad? The sound quality? There's things that you have to do in your life if you're a professional to judge yourself and hold yourself up to a certain standard. If you're putting out crap videos on YouTube that are filmed with like a cell phone camera and it's jittery and you can't break 3,000 subs or even 1,000, whose fault is that? YouTube? Maybe. Or maybe it's the fact people don't want to watch jittery camera videos. Now, on this channel, I don't really edit that much because this is like more of a podcast type of thing. I like talking. Really, I wish I would have been on the radio. Like, that was actually like, I always wanted to be on the radio when I was a kid. And I never got to do it. But with YouTube, I kind of am doing it. This right here is like the radio, except nobody listens to the radio anymore. They go on YouTube or they listen to podcasts. Podcasts have replaced the radio. I want to do talk radio, and that's what podcasts are. So ultimately, I'm doing what I always wanted to do, just not on the radio. I'm doing it on the internet. See what I'm saying? Like, it's still a W, but I didn't see, oh my God, I should have become a radio engineer. I don't see life like that. On the contrary, I'm happy that I'm doing this. I'm so blessed and humble that I'm doing this, yo. Plus, with the internet, you can reach people differently than you can with radio because it's more about SEO than it is time and, demographics. Although those can definitely matter. Loser mentality is envy. If your loser mentality is you see another YouTuber or Twitch streamer or whatever you want to do, another musician, artist, and you say that person does not deserve their success. They cheated. They got lucky. They did this. They did that. Whenever you start justifying in your head why somebody else who you don't know is where they're at, that is complete and utter envious loser mentality. That is loser mentality. When you start judging other people that you don't know, when you sit there and you look at somebody else, you over the internet or even in real life, and you make a comment about them, even if it's just to yourself without knowing them, you don't even know that person. I could read your comments all day. I'm not going to really know you. I'll know what you wrote, but I'm not going to be able to say this person has a life like this and behaves like this. Now, sometimes we do it anyways just to troll or, mess around, but there's people out there who genuinely have this negative loser vibe. A loser will look at a successful person and say, they don't deserve it, that should be me, etc. I'm entitled to this. Well, I've got news for you. You ain't entitled to nothing. If you are born on this earth, you are not entitled to anything. Everything that you gain in your life, you have to earn. Yes, there is luck. There's always going to be some luck in life. But that's not the right way to look at it. And I might do a whole video on luck because that's another big topic that I think should be discussed. Yes, there's always a little bit of luck there, but a winner does not, just like what they said in Titanic. Remember in Titanic, Billy Zane says, in my experience, a real man makes his own luck. Right, Dawson? That's so true. Because if you are always blaming bad luck for your pitfalls, there is something that you are missing, my friend. Winners will look at a successful person and say, you know what? I want to be where they're at. But that's not envy. It's I want to learn from them. I want to pattern myself. I want to read their book. I want to listen to their, audio book. I want to listen to their Speakdoms. Or I want to, for example, or I want to, interact with them. I want to get into their Discord, ask them questions. I want to learn how they learned and how they got to be where they're at. Because they seem happy. If you see an ugly guy, here's another example for you guys. Let's say you see an ugly dude, and all of you have seen this. Ugly ass dude, balding, maybe older guy, 45, 50 years old with a hot 25-year-old chick. Loser mentality. Oh, well, she must like him because he's rich. She must like him because he has a big dick. She must like him because she's mentally ill. Always some bullshit. Winning mentality is, that dude must have some real isms. He must have something that obviously turns her on. Now, she may actually be a gold digger. She may actually be with him because she's mentally ill and she's lonely or whatever. All that's true, but that's not how a winner will look at it. A winner will always look at the optimistic outcome, and a loser will always look at the pessimistic outcome. So if you're out there and you say, well, I'm a natural pessimist, there's nothing wrong with being pessimistic about certain things, but if you're a natural pessimist, you are filled with loser mentality. You don't want that. Because it's only going to make you be afraid to actually do what you want to do. How many people listening to this actually want to go out and be actors? You actually want to move out to Hollywood, but you're scared because you're afraid of finding the right place, or you have FOF, fear of failure, or you don't think you're talented enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not fat enough, you're not tall enough, you're not short enough. That's your own loser mentality messing with you. That's that angel and demon, in your shoulder. That's your own insecurities. And loser mentality, right? Losers are enveloped in insecurity. Winners, they have their insecurities because everybody does. But winners are able to control their insecurities, be introspective enough to learn from their insecurities, and ultimately create a better condition for themselves and also work on fixing said insecurities. Loser will look in the mirror and say, oh my God, I'm fat, I'm ugly, girls don't like me. Whereas if you take that same exact body type and put it on a winner, man, you know what? I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to start going to the gym 3 days a week. I'm going to get me a personal trainer, whatever. Do you understand? Like, are you getting where I'm going with this, like, speakdom? Like, are you getting where I'm coming from? And it's pretty interesting because when you read Twitter and Reddit and places like that, it's very easy to spot the winners from the losers. I have acquired a Spider-Man level sixth sense for figuring out people based on things they type and patterns. If I see a friend of mine or somebody on Twitter or whatever commenting something negative about somebody else's art or whatever, okay, well, maybe it's a one-off. Maybe it's an opinion. But then if they do it repeatedly, over and over again, then I start to wonder, okay, and I don't even know them, but I start to wonder, okay, is this person envious? Are they just being critical to make themselves feel better because they don't have anything going for themselves? Like, I start to wonder, like, because that's that negative energy, because winners are too busy making their own art. Losers criticize others' art. Winners make art. Write that one down. And when I say art, I mean anything from music to videos to paintings to drawings to doodles to animation to video game programming or software engineering. Winners, I'm feeling myself right now because this is the damn good one. I hope y'all are feeling me on this one. Losers will always take that negative approach. Winners will say, okay, a loser will look at a mountain and say, I cannot climb this mountain. A loser will look at the mountain and say, okay, how can I climb this mountain? Not, I can't climb it. They're going to say, if I do climb it, what is the best, easiest, and safest route for me to take? Some people are born with this skill. I had to learn it. I had to learn this. So I want y'all to really sit down today and think about, have some introspection and think about some of the times in your life where you've been a winner and where you've been a loser, because chances are you've probably done both, because I know I have. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been a loser before. But I have shed so much of that out of me. Like, winners don't have time to criticize other people because they're working on their own shit. They got too much shit going on. They're either trying to start up multiple businesses, they're dating multiple people, or they're in the dating scene, that is, that if you're into that. They are spending time with friends and family and children. They're going to see movies and concerts. They're doing things that make them feel good. They're reading a lot. And I don't mean just novels. I mean, like, nonfiction books that help you out. They are always doing something to make themselves better or to make their life better or make their kids' life better. That is a winner, my friend. If you are one of these people, pat yourself on the back because you've earned my respect. And if you're not, or if you are, but maybe you go in the loser territory, that's okay. Like, everyone has a moment of weakness. Do not beat yourself up over a moment of weakness, y'all. Do not do it. Instead, acknowledge the fact that you had a weak moment and learn from it. Winners are always learning from their mistakes. Losers make the same mistakes over and over again. Now, if you have been one of those guys that has, or girls, who's made the same mistake, don't beat yourself up. This is not meant to make you, I am not calling you a loser. We're talking about the mentality here. Because people who are winners sometimes have loser mentality. It happens. If you've dealt with a lot of BS in your life, it's going to come out at some point. But what you do is it comes out and then you course correct back to, okay, I'm a winner again. I acknowledge that I made a mistake. I should not have had that moment of weakness, but I'll work on it. That's a winner. Winners don't give up unless they absolutely feel like it's in their best interest to, or they found something else they like more. If your goal is to be a YouTuber who talks about movies, let's say you do this for 5 years. You don't make any money. You don't really... it becomes more of a nuisance than anything else. It might be time to move on to something else. Like, it's one of those things where I would never encourage somebody to give up their dream. But if at some point in your life you make the decision, because you're an adult, you are in control of your life. If you make a decision where you say, you know what, as much as I used to love doing this, I don't love it as much anymore. It's more of a hindrance to my life. Drop it. You don't have to do it anymore. And I'm serious. Like, if you're in college and you picked a major and you decide, let's say you want to be I don't know, theology major, and you decide halfway through, oh boy, I ain't gonna make no money doing this, or oh boy, it's gonna be hard to get a job, or oh boy, I don't care anymore, I want to be a journalist. You may have to deal with some nonsense if you want to change majors, depending on the school and the classes and how much money you've got. There are factors here. I'm telling you this because that's why I always tell y'all, and I have for years, make sure that if you go to college, make sure you kind of have an idea of what you want to do as much as you possibly can, because you don't want to go down a pathway and then not be able to turn to a different pathway. You know what I mean? It's just practical. If you want to become an air conditioning and, I don't know, heater repair or a plumber, and then halfway through you realize that it's not really something that you want to do, that's okay. But if you're in college, you're paying for that. At least in the United States, maybe not in other countries. But this is mainly aimed, that section is mainly aimed at people in the US. So anyways, y'all, I hope that I was able to give you the difference between losers and like the losing mentality and the winning mentality, and why you should always try to apply the winning mentality to everything in life, including when you fall. It's like in The Dark Knight Rises, yo. Why do we fall? So we can pick ourselves right back up. Or like Aaliyah said, if at first you don't succeed, try again.